Hello, welcome back to the Freak Show. Bumpy McSquigums here. I want to thank you all for joining me as I continue with my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, The White March. We're going to head in here and... oh, there's some weird looking stuff. There's a flesh construct. And, yeah, all sorts of other weird random things. I don't really know what to say about that. It's sort of off-putting, for lack of a better term. A little bit off-putting. But I suppose we'll have to do some talkage. And that'll be okay. Well, there's Caedmon Azo. So
nothing is closed. What you ask is done.
And let's steal some stuff. Ooh. A one-handed mace that might prove to be useful.
I shall do as you ask.
I shall do as you ask.
What you ask is done.
And, okay, what are we looking at here? Some unique light armor as well. Might be using that. I don't know. I don't feel like talking to him first because I feel like he's one of our end result people. So we should probably either look around first, talk to other people, or just chill. Probably not the chilling thing. Alright, so what is this? It's unique light armor DR7. Well, you're going to have heavier armor. In fact, I can probably give you something pretty heavy. I don't know if I will or not yet. DR6, DR7. So the fine hide will get replaced by breakout, which I don't know what that does. What does a breakout do? DR7, pierce, freeze, corrode, recovery speed, 25%. Stun duration, knockdown. I guess that's what that is. Defense while stunned and prone. Wow, seems pretty legit, really. Wolf heart. That seems like the literal perfect item for her. It even kind of looks like what she was already wearing. And as far as the one-handed mace, I don't know how it's going to compare to that. It seems to do a tiny bit more damage. It is a bit slower, though. This does have a 3DR bypass for accuracy. When attacking the same target as an ally. Oh, that's nice. 25% damage when attacking same target as an ally. Okay, that's cool. They both do crush damage, of course. But this one has 10% damage as burn. And it's got damaging 3, which gives us 45 damage and 4 accuracy. Which is better, sort of? It is better than exceptional. That is a tough one. I suppose I can probably like swap this over there. I mean, again, I don't know. It looks cool. Well, we'll try it for a bit. He's gonna hit slower but harder. I like his shield. Shield looks pretty neat. It's kind of DR11. She should have something that we can probably replace her sort of meh armor with something a little less meh. DR10, Defiant, range deflection bonus, speed. What else do we have? Loyal and fine versus Defiant and fine. I don't have a lot of really amazing high level armor. This one's actually quite decent. Maybe this is the one we'll throw in there. I'd like to see what she currently has. DR11 versus DR10. Slash is way higher. Crush is a bit lower. And so is piercing's a little lower too. But burn is much more defensive. Recovery speed's a little bit more. Damage reduction, burn and slash. Yeah. Maximum endurance is increased by 15. 50% armor damage reduction when under 25% health. 2. I'm going to say that her breastplate might be better in most scenarios than this. If we fight something that's more heavily fire nasty, maybe we'll use that. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be an episode about a bunch of different equipment and gear, so let's go around and see what we can actually do here. Imagine the patients can say the same kind of stuff. You probably have something to say. I'm not really sure what to think about the flesh construct. It seems bad. So, just gonna pretty much say that about it. There seems to be more than a few flesh constructs, actually. The crooked boards show deep gouge marks they're spaced like fork or elven fingernails. Okay, weird. Frail. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward. A greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. Have any of the patients been acting unusually? I feel like that's a weird question to ask in this situation. Well, there's a Batixa who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idelman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. I meant different from their normal behavior. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azzo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward had our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. When you blush, it brings out the color of your eyes. I wouldn't worry about that. You can tell me. I'm going crazy, too. I'm listening. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift, got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving, and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noblewoman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing, this shade of blue I'd never ever seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they called an awakening. I remembered being a noblewoman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me. Me! The best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd never dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls of my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seemed like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it, and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Well, maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then in another. Maybe the gods took offense to your overindulgence. Nobody deserves to go through what you've gone through. You had it right before. There's nothing to do but live with it. Let's talk about something else. To live with it. You had it right before. Yeah, I guess we'll go with that. Oh, the dog disagrees. Alright, well, since Katie says no, we'll go. Let's, maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then in another. The strange part is, I think even the best wouldn't be good enough for me anymore. I think it must have gotten to that point when I was that noble lady. Okay, well, would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guard allow a visitor, just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Do you know where I might find him? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. And what do you know about this Animancer Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many Animancers couldn't care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. Well, what do you mean? Freyo's eyes. Okay, that's weird. Her eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek the treatment to begin with. People say it was ego that drove him to try to solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Well, not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know, that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? If you just finish what you were saying, no, tell me. They call them buoys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Wow, that sucks. The grieving mother's hands fly to her ears, and her mouth frames a silent scream. Only her mind speaks. Evils that magnify tragedies. This is what we must stop. Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day, he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And then he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him. But I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Alright. Well, maybe he's not the most awful person in the history of the world. Or maybe he is. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Lots of these weird constructs. I feel like I'm going to end up having to murder a lot of them. Though they don't seem to mind that I'm, like, looting and pilfering things. So I'm sort of okay with that. Probably more okay than I should be.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Uh-huh. Right. Let's get on over here. Uh-huh. Sup, guard?
Keep your distance. Wick's in the cell back there. We've had incidents when people got close.
Well, they really seem to be giving me the kind of the run of the area. Hello, constructed flesh. I must use the proper key, but I don't have it, at least not yet on me. This place looks lovely. Oh boy.
Do your eyes see what mine see?
My eyes do see what thous thus see. What? I don't. It's fine. Are you patient?
Master Azo said he'd make me better soon. Why are you sneaking?
It's kind of what I do. I've been hearing screams in the night.
Like a thief in the night.
It's fine. Alright, let's see. What do we got here? The children, they keep down here. Pure evil in their eyes. Yeah, well... Why are you looking at kids' eyes, huh? Huh? Kind of weird creep. I'm kidding. Alright, Cademan Azo. What's up, buddy? What's that? Something churns and bubbles in this tank. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Ethelomahirminaminer told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? I'd like access to the North Ward. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Immortal? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. The Immortal. Are you trying to discredit me? Go dig elsewhere. No, it's just exhausting.
What is it now?
One of my options. Looking for an expert on awakenings? I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother someone else. Well, I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them. So, you can coerce them into your experiments. Freya told me everything. Ooh, I won't do that. I've been given permission to conduct my investigation down here. You'd best cooperate.
My answer is no. Whatever you're looking for, those patients will not be able to help you. The head warden will stand by me on this.
Oh. I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? Azo's nostrils flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this, Oddmer? That smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits at the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. Well, the Thelomohumor told me that you're not supposed to be doing any more experimentation. Yes, well, Ethelomahumor hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object. So I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animancers all follow the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Rayad Ceres. We would know nothing about life, or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Animancers must push the boundaries of knowledge. But you must be careful, Azo. Even Defiance Bay isn't as safe for research as it once was. You toy with things beyond our comprehension? It's dangerous and foolish. It seems to me we're still in the dark. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives. You're right about that much. There are certain questions that have to be asked. I have no interest in arguing about this. It seems to me we're still in the dark.
Is that a reason to stop trying? Shall we remain in the dark until the end of time and have the last breath of the last person alive be breathed in ignorance?
Maybe.
The gods want us to know. The clues are all around us. In understanding these truths, we honor their creation. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it, now that Ethelomahumor is involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. Well, you know...
What is it now?
I want access. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing to them.
Those are private. You have no right.
Don't I, though? He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into an index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Oh, well, thanks. Bye. GG, buddy. GG. Onward to the door. Flesh constructs, meh. I feel like this north ward is actually quite large. Huh. Well, I can talk to that one. I can talk to that one. And I can talk to this one. Talk to that one. Alright, I guess we start with this one. Is this my face? Tell me! Not very useful. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocents must drown. Okay. This man has a look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach, he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls, if it would get him further away from you. He cries out a bizarre, primal utterance like nothing you've ever heard. You can't hide from me, leaden key spy. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any torture to disfigure the soul. Let us return the favor to the animancers for this crap heap. Azo ran experiments on you against your will, didn't he? Frail said you were being treated by Caedmon Azo. There are things I need to know from you. I'm going to learn them whether or not you can speak. He ran on experiments against your will. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell. And as he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your ken. Okay. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. I'm going to leave him be. I think we can come back to that. Nope. Frail said you were being treated by Caedmon. Okay. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell, a key turns, the door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and that word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall. Cornered, you cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work, and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats. You are screaming a scream you can barely hear. I'm going to continue searching. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door coming for you. You look through a slit in your door, the flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a minute, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Decoupled from Graham's soul. That's weird. Okay, Graham looks at you, still wide-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Pelagina's feathered hands. Her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she is trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything going alright in there? Speak to the patient at the end of the hall. Okay, well that sounds like a tale for another time, ladies and gentlemen. I know. We didn't get much done this episode, but we got enough done, I think. We have advanced the storyline, and we're not quite on the cusp, but we're pretty cusp-like for being able to finish up what we're doing. Again, we don't have a lore monkey anymore, and that could prove to be problematic, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, folks, until the very next episode, my name's Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show, and I will...
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
See you later.